It is around 8 a.m. on Thursday morning. I just spent the last 2 hours prepping for a presentation I'm about to give to a meetup group in Poland, Angular Wrocław. I'm pronouncing it terribly, I apologize. I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be one of my better presentations. How Stephanie does her morning stand-ups. I'm about to go live with the Angular Wrocław meetup in Poland. I've been all over the world today. So I started the morning off in Poland, in Wrocław, for a presentation all about performance, and then I just did a presentation with a gentleman in Ghana for the Ionic podcast. So traveling all over the world, but right now I'm going to be back in my bed because I'm not feeling the best, so I'm going to go take another nap. Today has not been a very productive day. Because my head has hurt, I've basically spent the whole day in bed trying to relax, trying to sleep, really trying to recover from however this terrible feeling I've got. But I did take an hour tonight to do all the important things. So I edited the vlog, I published it, and I did take a little bit of time to play some Factorio. If you know me and you've never heard me talk about Factorio, that's really weird, because Factorio is probably my favorite game and the game that I've invested the most amount of time into over the last 15 years for really most of my adult life. Factorio as a game starts out really simply. You find yourself stranded on a lost planet, and you have to find a way to get off the planet. Every game starts the same. So you are here, stranded on a foreign planet, and you've got a few resources. You've got water, you've got iron ore, you've got copper, you've got coal. This starts off very simple where, hey, maybe you should go ahead and mine some iron ore by hand. So you can see my little guy here digging into the iron ore. You could then, let's say, hey, let's want to make this faster. So maybe I'm going to use an iron axe. But even faster than an iron axe, what if I could build a machine that would actually go and do this for me? But in order for this machine to work, you need some power, so you need some fuel, so you need to go get coal. And what happens is after you get coal, you can build more advanced mining machines, then you can build research, and then you can build more and more and more. And it just cascades from there. But this really simple premise is very deceiving. As this person on this planet, you have the ability to build things, and you could build most of the items in the game just by hand hammering away in the game, but that's not the way you want to do it. The way you want to do it is by automating and building systems that automate things for you. Now, I have played and beaten Factorio probably about 5 or 6 times at this point, but because the game is infinite, you can keep progressing, you can keep making your civilization, your colony better, you can keep producing science faster, you can keep expanding the reach of your realm. There's really no end. And so if you add up all of the time I've spent in games like Skyrim, I've probably spent about 200-300 hours in Skyrim, or Breath of the Wild, where I spent around 150 hours. That pales in comparison to the amount of time I've spent in Factorio. In this save alone, I've spent around 45 hours, and overall in the game, according to the stats that I see in Steam, I've spent over 1,000 hours playing Factorio. And so it's a huge commitment of my life has been to this game, almost unintentionally, but I don't actually feel too bad about it, because I feel like the way that it makes you think about problems and the way that it makes you think about system design, architecture, 2D visual space layout, and then the way that I've had really great conversations and really great experiences with friends has totally made all of this worthwhile. And after a bunch of hours, you end up with these giant sets of machines, these giant systems that are all responsible for moving resources around, processing them, with the ultimate goal of furthering your research, giving you items that you need, getting you off of the planet, and making you better at everything you do. There's a giant tech tree, everything from logistics robots that can fly around and deliver items anywhere on the map, to equipment that you can buy, so armor that you can give yourself to run faster, to protect you, to have portable little travel robots. And all of the skills necessary for playing Factorio are around constraint satisfaction and goal setting. At any given moment, you as this one little creature on this lonely planet have to decide, what is your goal? What is most important for you right now? And then what are all the sub-goals that you need to follow in order to get there? One of the goals that they give you as part of this game is setting up these rocket silos, because you want to escape the planet. But what you soon find is that this is much, much easier said than done. In order to get here, you have to mine a giant, kind of vast array of the world. You have to power your empire. I use solar panels. You have to collect coal and copper and stone and process it into circuits and advanced circuits. And you have to dig oil out of the earth, and you have to defend yourself, because as you're doing all this, as you're building out your little empire, the aliens, you're actually polluting their entire world. So you can see this cloud of pollution coming from a lot of machines. And so this makes the aliens both angry, and it makes them want to attack you. And so you have to set up kind of these large networks of defense, which then have to be powered, which then have to be fueled, in order to just continue achieving your goals. And so this is a game that really teaches you to think about what is the goal that you're trying to achieve at any given moment, and what are the steps that you can take in the most efficient manner in order to solve that goal. I like thinking about the importance of games, because it always feels so natural to play games, but there's a really dark side to these things too. If you look at games like Candy Crush, or the huge amount of in-app purchases that games are trying to force you to play and to trick you into playing with all these psychological addiction techniques, I really think understanding why we play games and then choosing good games to play is really important. So I have a relatively simple criteria for deciding if a game is good or not, whether or not it's actually training you. And that criteria is, if you had to start over and play the game again, would you be better at it? Now, with something like Factorio, absolutely. I would have new mental models for how to solve the problems. I would have a better knowledge of the system. And I think my brain in general would just be healthier in terms of solving that category of constraint satisfaction problems. You see the same thing with Sudoku. You see the same thing with a lot of different games that are very skill-based, right? If you play Halo every day, you're even going to get better, because hand-eye coordination is going to get better. You're going to get better at strategizing the layout of a map. But if you contrast that with games like Candy Crush or even like Fallout Shelter, you play that game again, you're not going to be any better, right? You're going to be playing it and waiting for the random chance, playing it and waiting for all of the in-app kind of loot to drop, or you end up just paying. And that sort of game is not really good. It's not really healthy for the brain. It's just taking advantage of the psychological tricks to make you play.